in order to get your dinner tonight, you're going to have to come up here and read a poem, okay? I don't care where it comes from, whatever it is, how many, just come up here one at a time. All right.
These lacustrine cities grew out of loathing into something forgetful, although angry with history. They are the product of an idea that man is horrible, for instance, though this is only one example. They emerged until a tower controlled the sky, and with artifice dipped back into the past for swans and tapering branches, burning, until all that hate was transformed into useless love. Then you are left with an idea of yourself and the feeling of ascending emptiness of the afternoon, which must be charged to the embarrassment of others who fly by you like beacons. The night is a sentinel. Much of your time has been occupied by creative games until now. But we have all-inclusive plans for you. We thought, for instance, of sending you to the middle of the desert, to a violent sea, or having the closeness of others be air to you, pressing you back into a startled dream as sea breezes greet a child's face. But the past is already here, and you are nursing some private project. The worst is not over. Yet I know you will be happy here because of the logic of your situation, which is something no climate can outsmart. Tender and insouciant by turns, you see you have built a mountain of something, thoughtfully pouring all of your energy into this single monument, whose wind is desire, starching a petal, whose disappointment broke into a rainbow of tears.
I remember Michigan fondly as the place I go to be in Michigan. The right hand of America, waving from maps or the left, pressing into clay a mold to take home from kindergarten to mother. I lived in Michigan for 43 years. The state bird is a chained factory gate. The state flower is Lake Superior, which sounds egotistical, though it is merely cold and deep as truth. A Midwesterner can use the word truth, can sincerely use the word sincere. In truth, the Midwest is not mid or west. When I go back to Michigan, I drive through Ohio. There is off I-75 in Ohio a mosque, so life goes corn, 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 mosque. I wave at Islam, which we're not getting along with on account of the towers, as I pass. Then Ohio goes corn, corn, corn. Billboard, goodbye Islam. You never forget how to be from Michigan when you're from Michigan. It's like riding a bike of ice and fly fishing. The Upper Peninsula is a spare state in case Michigan goes flat. I live now in Virginia, which has no backup plan, but is named the same as my mother. I live in my mother again, which is creepy, but so is what the skin under my chin is doing. Suddenly, there's a pouch like marsupials are needed. The state joy is spring. Osiris, we beseech thee, rise and give us baseball, is how we might sound were we Egyptian in April, when February hasn't ended. February is 13 months long in Michigan. We are a people who, by February, want to kill the sky for being so gray and angry at us. What did we do is the state motto. There's a day in May when we're all tumblers, gymnasts are everywhere, and daffodils are asked by young men to be their wives. When a man elopes with a daffodil, you know where he's from. In this way, I give you a primer. Let us all be from somewhere. Let us tell each other everything we can.
Para que me den la comida. Los detectives perdidos. Los detectives perdidos en la ciudad oscura. Oí sus gemidos. Oí sus pasos en el teatro de la juventud. Una voz que avanza como una flecha. Sombra de cafés y parques, frecuentados en la adolescencia. Los detectives que observan sus manos abiertas. El destino manchado con la propia sangre. Y tú no puedes ni siquiera recordar en dónde estuvo la herida. Los rostros que una vez amaste, la mujer que te salvó la vida. The Lost Detectives. The Lost Detectives in the Dark City. I heard his moans. I heard his steps in the theater of youth. A voice that advances like an arrow. Shadow of cafes and parks frequented in the adolescence. The detectives who observed his open hands. The destiny stained with its own blood. And you cannot ever even remember where the wound was. The faces that you once had loved, the woman who had saved your life. That's it.
Okay, I'm reading for Elise Thompson, who suggested this from a book. So much obliged, added Tweedledee. You like poetry? Yes, pretty well, some poetry, Alice said doubtfully. Would you tell me which road leads out of the wood? Well, shall I repeat to her, said Tweedledee, look around at Tweedledum with great solemn eyes, and not noticing Alice's question. The walrus and the carpenter is the longest, Tweedledum replied, giving his brother an affectionate hug. Tweedledee began instantly. The sun was shining. Here Alice ventured to interrupt him. If it's very long, she said, as politely as she could, would you please tell me first which road? Tweedledee smiled gently and began again. The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all his might. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright. And this was odd because it was the middle of the night. The moon was shining sulkily because she thought the sun had got no business to be there after the day was done. It's very rude of him, she said, to come and spoil the fun. The sun was wet as wet could be. The sands were dry as dry. You could not see a cloud because no cloud was in the sky. No birds were flying overhead. There were no birds to fly. The walrus and the carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see, such qualities of sand. If this were only cleared away, they said, it would be grand. If seven maids with 7 mops swept it for half a year, do you suppose, the walrus said, that they could get it clear? I doubt it, said the carpenter, and shed a bitter tear. Oh, oyster, come and walk with us, the walrus beseeched. A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along the briny beach. We cannot do with more than 4 to give a hand to each. The eldest oyster looked at him, but never a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eyes and shook his heavy head, meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed. But 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. Their coats were brushed, their faces washed, their shoes were clean and neat. And this was odd because, they hadn't any feet. 4 other oysters followed them, and yet another 4. And thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more, all hopping through the frosty waves and scrambling to the shore. The walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so, and then they rested on a rock conveniently low, and all the little oysters stood and waited in a row. The time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many things, of shoes, of ships, and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot and whether pigs have wings. But wait a bit, the oyster cried, before we have our chat, for some of us are out of breath, and all of us are fat. No hurry, said the carpenter. They thanked him much for that. A loaf of bread, the walrus said, is what we chiefly need. Pepper and vinegar, besides, are very good indeed. Now, if you're ready, oysters dear, we can begin to feed. But not on us, the oysters cried, turning a little blue. After such kindness, that would be a dismal thing to do. The night is fine, the walrus said. Do you admire the view? It was so kind of you to come, and you are very nice. The carpenter said nothing, but cut another slice. I wish you were not quite so deaf. I've had to ask you twice. It seems a shame, the walrus said, to play them such a trick after we brought them out so far and made them trot so quick. The carpenter said nothing, but the butter spread too thick. I weep for you, the walrus said. I deeply sympathize, but sobs and tears he snort out those of the largest size. He sorted out those of the largest size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes. "O oysters," said the carpenter, "you have had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again?" But answer come there none, and this was scarcely odd, because they had eaten every one. Well, thankfully we're not eating oysters tonight.
This is called Silk Dream by Shania Seda. Bring me all your dreams, wrap them up in silk, send them my way, carry them with the palm of your hand. While reaching for the sky, stretching your hands further and further, but not yet grasping those big bright stars at the top. This was the start of your long journey to love yourself and cherish your very being. But be gentle, as those stars can turn into comets that can come crashing down into a red, scorching, flamed ball of destruction, taking your aspirations and crushing it, sending it aflame. This long journey will not be easy, but trust me, you will find treasure when reaching for the sky, taking it and using it for your own self-worth, creating someone who you value and love, that possesses the ability to be strong and not be taken down. Like that smooth, lustrous piece of silk flowing through the rough winds to get a hold of you. It's by a fourth grader.
This is a high school poem. אני מורטת את שערותיי
I pluck my hairs
ומותחת את עורי
and stretch the skin
עד שירוקנו מחילותיו
till its tunnels are empty.
ואז בא הגלד
Then comes the scab
והצלקת
and the scar
שתבלע את איבריי האינטימיים
that will swallow my intimate parts,
המריירים
the salivating,
ותסתום את הדם
and will shut the blood,
תוריד אותם ממני
rid of me. Rid me of them.
I'm going to read two. I wrote the short one last week. To the man who called me a chink last week, fuck you. I've been spending my life trying not to be such an easy target. Thank you for reminding me I need to work harder. No, you need to work harder. No, I need to work harder. No, you need to work harder. You need to work harder. You need to work harder. This is more light. This is a poem by Madison Johnson called Actually, Yes, Everything is About Race. Especially this episode of Food Network's Chopped. Obviously, I'm rooting for the token, the black woman, the black dude from Baltimore, the tiny brown vegan woman, even though all her food looked kind of nasty. Over all these white boys, always. Today I'm shouting on my sofa for Chef Evelyn, because Chef Evelyn says soul food. And she don't mean what white people search for on Yelp, or in my scalp, or in what used to be Jackie in an old neighborhood. She means the food of her soul. She means this is how my grandmama ate, and many a grandmama before her. In the background, some white guy says sriracha, and it sounds like a hate crime. The white guys are always saying sriracha, always making reductions, are always sure that they'll win. And I mean sure, everyone says it, but they actually mean it. Always look at their dish on the chopping block like they're waiting for it to hocus pocus into someone else's. Like they're used to their failures hocus pocusing into someone else's, or someone else. Like they want to leap over the judge's table and choke someone out. And sometimes they do win. But today, everyone knows Chef Evelyn's English muffin burger was bomb. Even Chef Eli, who has a ponytail and a surprised shrug and says, I guess Evelyn is not just some short 24-year-old girl you can write off. And she kicks his ass. She apologizes all the way to the finish line. And of course, it's about this. You can learn so much about race in a half-an-hour cooking show. Like how the judges tell Evelyn her ice cream isn't sweet enough and she says sorry. Like how the judges tell Eli his dessert was straight garbage and he says, well, you can't expect me to make a dessert with those ingredients anyway. Like that's not the fucking point of the show. Like how the white boy will always blame test. Like how the black girl will always cook herself down to an apology. Like how the white boy is never sorry for anything. Like how the other day, I burned my arm getting mac and cheese out of the oven, and it was the closest I've ever felt to a black woman. Glory be a face that looks like mine on TV for good reason. Glory be a woman who reminds me of the spirits in my stomach lining. Glory be a warm meal with no reductions, and I will always root for the brown chef, and I will never buy the white sob story, because the brown chef don't need sob story. Because what is a diasporic kitchen if not one bellowing sob? Because the brown chef's sob story is the white chef, is the white man's fork, always in their curry, always in their hair, always breaking down their front door, always scraping the bottom of the plate, asking for more.
The morning after my death, we will sit in cafes, but I will not be there. I will not be. There was the great death of birds. The moon was consumed with fire. The stars were visible until noon. Green was the forest drenched with shadows. The roads were serpentine. A redwood tree stood alone, with its lean and lit body, unable to follow the cars that went by with frenzy. A tree is always an immutable traveler. The moon darkened at dawn, the mountain quivered with anticipation, and the ocean was double shaded. The blue of its surface with the blue of flowers mingled in horizontal water trails. There was a breeze to witness the hour. The sun darkened at the 5th hour of the day. The beach was covered with conversations. Pebbles started to pour into the holes, and waves came in like horses. The moon darkened on Christmas Eve. Angels ate lemons in illuminated churches. There was a blue rug planted with stars above our heads. Lemonade and war news competed for our attention. Our breath was warmer than the hills. There was a great slaughter of rocks, of spring leaves, of creeks. The stars showed fully the last king of the mountain, gave battle and got killed. We lay on the grass, covered dried blood with our bodies, green blades swayed between our teeth. We went out to sea. A bank of whales was headed south. A young man among us, a hero, tried to straddle one of the sea creatures. His body emerged as a muddy pool, as mud. We waved goodbye to his remnants, happy not to have to bury him in the early hours of the day. We got drunk in a baroom. The small town of Fairfax had just gone to bed. Cherry trees were bending under the weight of their flowers. They were involved in a ceremonial dance to which no one had ever been invited. I know flowers to be funeral companions. They make poisons and venoms and eat abandoned stone walls. I know flowers shine stronger than the sun. Their eclipse means the end of times. But I love flowers for their treachery, their fragile bodies, grace my imagination's avenues. Without their presence, my mind would be an unmarked grave. We met a great storm at sea, looked back at the rocking cliffs. The sand was going under, black birds were leaving. The storm ate friends and foes alike. Water turned into salt for my wounds. Flowers end in frozen patterns. Artificial gardens cover the floors. We get up close to midnight, search with powerful lights, the tiniest shrubs on the meadows. A stream desperately is running to the ocean.
This is an excerpt from Edwidge Danticott's Create Dangerously. Albert Camus once wrote that a person's creative work is nothing but a slow trek to rediscover, through the detours of art, those 2 or 3 images in whose presence his or her heart first opened. Over the years, I have tried to explore my 2 or 3 images in these rather simple essays. In each of these pieces, though, are several cities, a country, 2 independent republics in the same hemisphere, but obviously with different destinies and goals in the world. The immigrant artist shares with all other artists the desire to interpret and possibly remake his or her own world. So though we may not be creating as dangerously as our forebears, though we are not risking torture, beatings, execution, though exile does not threaten us into perpetual silence, still, while we are at work, bodies are littering the streets somewhere. People are buried underneath rubble somewhere. Mass graves are being dug somewhere. Survivors are living in makeshift tent cities and refugee camps somewhere, shielding their heads from the rain, closing their eyes, covering their eyes, to shut out the sounds of military aid helicopters. And still, many are reading and writing and creating quietly.
Hello. Okay, I'm gonna read a poem by Kim So-wol, and it is translated by David McCann. It's titled Azaleas. When you leave, wary of me, without a word I shall gently let you go. From Mount Yak in Yongbyon, I shall gather armfuls of azaleas and scatter them on your way. Step by step, on the flowers placed before you, tread lightly, softly as you go. When you leave, wary of me, though I die, I'll not let one tear fall.
Oh. Two rabbits were chased by a fox, of all the crazy shit in the world. And the fox kept up the chase, circling the world until the world caught up with him in some broken down downtown metropolis. Inside the warren, the rabbits think fast. Pip touches the other rabbit, listening. Pip, we're doomed. Flip, we're not. Pip, are you sure? Flip, yes, here. Hide inside me. This is the story of Pip and Flip, the bunny twins. We say that once there were two and now there's only one. When the fox sees Pip run past, he won't know that the other is inside the other. He'll think, well, there's at least one more rabbit in that warren. But no one's left. You know this and I know this. Together we trace out the trail away from doom. There isn't hope, there is a trail. I follow you. When a rabbit meets a rabbit, one takes the time to tell the other this story. The rabbits then agree that there must be two rabbits, at least two rabbits, and that in turn there is a trace. I'm only repeating what I heard. This is one love. There are many loves, but only one war. Bird 1, this is the same story. Bird 2, no, this is the rest of the story. Let me tell you a story about war. A man found his life to be empty. He began to study Latin. Latin was difficult for the man to understand. I will study Latin even though it is difficult, said the man. Yes, even if it is difficult. Let me tell you a story about war. A man had a dream about a woman and then he met her. The man had a dream about the woman's former lover. The former lover was sad. He wanted to fight. The man said to the woman, I will have to comfort your former lover, or I will always be fighting him in my dreams. Yes, said the woman, you will need to comfort him, or we will never be finished with this. Let me tell you a story about war. A fisherman's son and his dead brother sat on the shore. That is my country, and this is your country, and the line in the sand is the threshold between them, said the dead brother. Yes, said the fisherman's son. You cannot have an opponent if you keep saying yes. Bird 1, this is the wrong story. Bird 2, all stories are the wrong story when you are impatient. Let me tell you a story about war. A man says to another man, can I tell you something? The other man says, no. A man says to another man, there is something I have to tell you. No, says the other man, no you don't. Bird 1, now we're getting somewhere. Bird 2, yes we are. Let me tell you a story about war. A boy spills a glass of milk and his father picks him up by the back of the shirt and throws him against the wall. You killed my wife and you can't even keep a glass on the table. The wife had died of sadness by her own hand. The father walks out of the room and the room is almost empty. The road outside the house lies flat on the ground and the ground surrenders. The father works late. The dead wife's hand makes fish sticks while the boy sits in the corner where he fell. The fish and the fish sticks think to themselves, this is not what we were meant to be. Its roots in the ground and its branches in the air, a tree is pulled in two directions. The wife has a dead hand. This is earlier. She is living and her dead hand feeds her pills that don't work. The boy sleeps on the roof or falls out of trees. The father works late. The wife looks out the window and thinks, not this. The boy is a bird, bad bird. He falls out of trees. Let me tell you a story about war. The fisherman's son serves drinks to sailors. He stands behind the bar, listens closely for news of his dead brother. The sailors are thirsty. They drink rum. Tell me a story, says the fisherman's son. There is nothing interesting about the sea. The water is flat and calm. It seems a sheet of glass. You look at it, and the more you look at it, the more you feel like you are looking into your own head, which is a stranger's head, empty. We listen to the sound with our equipment. I have learned to understand this sound. When you look, there is nothing. With the equipment, there is sound. We sit in rows and listen down the tunnels for the song. The song has red words in it. We write them down in sheets of paper and pass them along. Sometimes there is noise and song, and sometimes there is silence. The long tunnel, the sea, like glass. You are a translator, says the fisherman's son. Yes, says the sailor. And the sound is the voice of the enemy. Yes, it is. Let me tell you a story about love. She had a soft voice and strong hands. When she sang, she would seem too large for the room, and she would play guitar and sing, which would make his chest feel huge. Sometimes he would touch her knee and smile. Sometimes she would touch his face and close her eyes. The The fisherman's son is a spy, a good one. Spies like documents. Spies wander and roam, scanning for information. A man does work, a machine can too. Power of agency, agent, and what? This is a question we might ask. What is a document before it's a document? A noise in your head, a backstory. What makes a thing yours to sell or trade? That is a question. Good question. The fisherman's son knows nothing worth stealing, perhaps. He knows that when you snap a mast, it's time to get a set of oars and learn how to breathe underwater. You rely on one thing too long and then it disappears and you have nothing. Well, that's just bad planning. It's embarrassing to think it could ever happen, but it happens. You cannot get in the way of anyone's path to God. You can, but it does no good. Every spy knows this. Some say God is where we put our sorrow. God says, which one of you fuckers can get me first? The spies meet at the chain link fence and tell each other stories. Some people find money in the street, but they can't rely on it. The fisherman's son is at the fence, waiting to see if he is useful. You cannot get in the way of anyone's path to happiness. It also does no good. The problem is figuring out which part is the path and which part is the happiness. It's a blessing. Every day someone shows up at the fence, and when no one shows up, a different kind of blessing. In the wrong light to anyone can look like darkness.
Litanies to my heavenly brown body. Fuck your whiteness. Fuck your beauty. Fuck your chest hair. Fuck your beard. Fuck your privilege. Fuck that you aren't made to feel shame always. Fuck your thinness. Fuck your muscles. Fuck my muscles too. Fuck your attractive fatness. Fuck your shaming me for nothing. Fuck your accusations that I produce shame. Fuck your reading me as a caricature. Fuck your deconstruction of my personhood. Fuck your marginalization of my identity. Fuck your judging me for self-care. Fuck your ability to be assertive. Fuck your lack of socialization to be a submissive. Fuck your asking me to produce safety for you and not myself. Fuck the amount of effort I exert to get less than enough consideration. Fuck that the amount of space I take up in the world is constantly questioned. Fuck the people that think I'm a slut. Fuck that you can't demand attention. Fuck that I'm willing to give you what I can't have. Fuck that your values and your actions never match. Fuck that your values and actions never match up when it comes to me. Fuck that I can't expect anything from anyone. Fuck that the amount of work I put into beauty and my intellect and my talent is never enough. Amen. Blessed are the sissies. Blessed are the boy dykes. Blessed are the people of color that are my kin and my kin. Blessed are the trans. Blessed are the high femmes. Blessed are the authentics. Blessed are the disidentifiers. Blessed are the gender illusionists. Blessed are the non-normative. Blessed are the gender queers. Blessed are the kinksters. Blessed are the disabled. Blessed are the hot fat girls. Blessed are the weirdo queers. Blessed is the spectrum. Blessed is consent. Blessed is respect. Blessed are the love who I didn't describe. I couldn't describe. Will learn to describe. Respect and love. Amen.
Is this working? Yes. This is a famous poem by Philip Larkin, and everybody knows it, or I hope you do. If you don't, that's okay too. I used to think of it in one way when I was a son, and now I think of it in another way, and now I'm a father. It's called This Be the Verse. They fuck you up, your mum and dad. They may not mean to, but they do. They fill you with their faults they had and add some extra just for you. But they were fucked up in their turn by fools in old-style hats and coats who half the time were soppy stern and half at one another's throats. Man hands on misery to man. It deepens like a coastal shelf. Get out as early as you can and don't have any kids yourself.
The reticent volcano keeps his never slumbering plan. Confided are his projects pink to no precarious man. If nature will not tell the tale, Jehovah told to her, can human nature not survive without a listener? Admonished by her buckled lips, let every babbler be. The only secret people keep is immortality.
Okay. So this is a poem I wrote for the boy that was smoking weed on the train to New York this morning. Can you hear me now? Okay. Oh, it's weird hearing my own voice, but so this is basically a poem that I wrote for him. I missed the train by 5 minutes and waited for 50. My driver said to go drive and get my license. At the train station, my body becomes an object blending into the background of space. A man in blue jeans walked out from the elevator wearing an eye patch. I steal his image and paint him into my poem, where the words fly off the page as I read them aloud and flow right back into me. She's holding a red leather-bound document folder. Business is casual. The train is humming, but it stands immobile at the dock. We sit on the bench with our backs turned to each other, but I see that he sits motionless, with his eyes glued to the phone. And for a moment, I lose myself in a world where the leaves never fall, and he turns around to speak to me with passion and fever. And I look back and welcome him into my gaze, and we depart, taking different trains that bring us to the same place, knowing that we've been seen for what we love and not what we are. Thank you.
This is a poem that was written by a friend of mine named Avery, and we collaborated on a lot of projects in West Virginia. I'm working on a book right now, and he generously contributed this to that. We say what we mean to say. We say what we mean to say. We say what we mean to say. Fuck me like oil paint. No lines, no textures, coconut oil on my body as a sign of preparedness, a sign of beauty. Do I love myself too much? Joke with me and try out the softest corner of my tongue and crossing the street and streetcars and when we used to go for walks when it was too humid. I would only notice your skin burning in the hot Maryland sun. No more pleasures, no more minds. Kiss me there under the sycamore during deer season. Fall 1982, fall 1992, fall 2013, fall 2015. I am grateful for you. I am a lightning bolt. You are a stopwatch. Filigree my eyelids and tell me I'm pretty under this American dawn. No burns for lodging, our smoke in their mouths. I remember when you used to smoke into my mouth. I remember your hands playing pipe on my lips. I remember open your lungs and let this happen. I opened my lungs and let it happen. Sometimes the best thing for your mental health is to be too honest with too many people about too many secrets. You know which ones I'm talking about. Tell me, like your love fallen into a lake. You're desperately trying to grab at their forearm. It's gone. 11 feet under, forget-me-not, and 11 feet of bright pink valentines. This is how we forget people. You got this one from Jenna. She is your only friend in middle school. You covet the pink paper above the chipping laminate of a public school desk. It is a jewel. It is a jewel for you to wrap in the chair of your body. It is your only memory of her smile. I want you to hold my hand. I want to read Robert Bly and cry until I feel like continuing to fuck. I want to be important. I want to be covered in pink glitter. This will make me important. I want to end every sentence with down. Soft like birth and electric blue bolts spilling out of your mouth like velvet. Rapidly, your tongue like velvet. That velvet is my sight. I'm turning on the quiet lights. Hold my wrists and drag me through the forest. Tell me I'm not good enough. God looks me in the eyes and laughs. Their mouth is crooked, evil. Thank you, God. Paint me brash. Paint me gilded and plastic. Mold around my chest to see where skin flattens and flesh slopes. Paint me Avery. Paint me as sunrise. I am the felt coming apart at the edge of the pool table. I am the failing wooden joint. I am the Irish woman who has been a bartender here for years. I am kind. I am the dust on the television. I am the reflection in the corner of your eyes. I am your sweat. I am full of your lies, each and every single lie. I live here in your falsehoods. I am your bones disquiet. I am the spirit of disquiet. I am the state of Maine. I am your tendon. I will break and let you fall. I will remove myself from behind your knee up. I will fail, so will you. I am ceramic and how ceramic breaks. Sharp like a rusty razor you used to toy with when you were young. I am your youth. Youth, a jar of West Virginia faucet water. You are the pipes. I am the jar. Leave me half full and forget about it. Tell me you don't know them and blush. Scream into my open mouth. Let your sound occupy me, at least my mouth. Sound off in my mouth. Be transparent, be violent, be a thief, spell me wrong. You are pine cone, thistle, and tack, the sailboat on the Chesapeake Bay out for Red Drum. I am on that boat. Please rescue me. I am a knot in the oldest tree in Virginia. I am a Kefir oak. I am sorry it's over. Cut me and shape me with your hands. Display my imperfections. They will call me an oddity. Quiver your voice as you wake me to life to check my breathing. You lead. I'll whisper the secrets of my love into your ear. Simon says, confess. Saint Benedict is weeping in the playground. I am his tear and his rule. I am the saint of the asphalt. I am unresolved sin. I am the condensation on 2004 Toyota Corolla, currently driving me to work. Gas brake, gas brake. The men are fixing the roads. They are working for the future. I am working within the past. I am an incomplete sentence. I am the past.
I chose this poem because last year when we came, Arto played. The man, excuse me, the man bent over his guitar, a shearsman of sorts. The day was green. They said, "You have a blue guitar. You do not play things as they are." The man replied, "Things as they are changed upon the blue guitar." And they said, "Then but play you must, a tune beyond us, yet ourselves, a tune upon the blue guitar of things exactly as they are." I cannot bring a world quite round, though I patch it as I can. I sing a hero's head, large eye and bearded bronze, but not a man. Although I patch him as I can and reach through him almost to man, if to serenade almost to man is to miss by that things as they are, say that it is the serenade of a man that plays a blue guitar. Ah, but to play man number one, to drive the dagger in his heart, to lay his brain upon the board and pick the acrid colors out, to nail his thought across the door, its wings spread wide to rain and snow, to strike his living high and ho, to tick it, talk it, turn it true, to bang it from a savage blue, jangling the metal of the strings. So that's life then? Things as they are, it picks its way on the blue guitar. A million people on one string, and all their manner in the thing, and all their manner right and wrong, and all their manner weak and strong. The feelings crazily, craftily call like a buzzing of flies in the autumn air, and that's life then, things as they are, this buzzing of the blue guitar. I'm cutting it off.
Hi. There is a poem that's read yearly in Canada, where I'm from, to commemorate a battle in World War I. It goes, "In Flanders fields the poppies grow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amidst the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, but now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies blow in Flanders fields."
where are you now? Calling out your name, your face is everywhere. I'm reaching out to you to find that you're not there. I wake up every night to stay the state I'm in. It's like an endless fight I never seem to win. I can't go on as long as I believe, can't let go when I keep wondering. Where are you now? What have you found? Where is your heart when I'm not around? Where are you now? You gotta let me know, oh baby, so I can let you go. I can hear your voice, the ring of yesterday. It seems so close to me, but yet so far away. I should let it out to save what's left of me and close to the doors of doubt, revive my dignity. But I can't go on as long as I believe, can't let go when I keep wondering. I should let it out, it's time to let you go. Oh baby, just I want to know.
Original. At the world, like we're going to be all right, but conflicted and addicted, wanting to live a life with respect one was offered, not small, became large. X became XL, multiplication of complications. Where is time when beauty died? Where is future when innocence wanes? Where is presence when there is no touch? I think motherfuckers wanna laugh. Motherfuckers wanna laugh!
So, sometimes when I was younger in the bathroom, I would read like all the ingredients on the toothpaste tube or the shampoo. And tonight I decided I was going to read some of Dr. Bronner's. Absolute cleanliness is godliness. Teach the moral ABC that unites all mankind. Flee. Instantly 6 billion strong, and we're all one. Listen, children, eternal Father, eternally one. As taught by the moral ABC, the real Rabbi Hillel taught Jesus to unite all mankind free. First, if it's not for me, who am I? Nobody. Second, if I'm only for me, what am I? Nothing. Third, if not now, when? Once more, unless constructive, selfish, I work hard, perfecting first me. Absolute nothing can help perfect me, exceptions none. Fourth, only hard work, God's law can save us. But if we teach only our clan, we're all hated then. So Hillel taught Jesus, we must teach friend and enemy, the whole human race, the whole truth, hard work, free speech, press, and profit sharing. Moral ABCs, all one God faith, uniting the whole human race. For we're all one or none. As teach 6,000 years, the African shepherd astronomers, Abraham and Israel, since the year one, listen, children, eternal Father, eternally one, exceptions eternally, absolute none. Fifth, whatever unites mankind is better than whatever divides us. Yet, if absolute unselfish, I am not for me. I am not classless, raceless, starving masses, a slave never free or brave, only if constructive and selfish. I work hard perfecting first the Arctic owls, penguin, pilot, cat, swallow, beaver, bee. I can teach them moral ABCs. All one God, faith, real Rabbi, hello, taught Jesus to unite all mankind free. Absolute cleanliness and godliness, balanced food for body, mind, soul, spirit is our medicine. Full truth, our guide. Half truth, our enemy. Hard work, our salvation. Unity, our goal. Free speech, our new weapon. All one, our soul. Self-discipline, the key to freedom. Unity. Love unites all one above for all one. As teach 6,000 years astronomers, Abraham and Israel, listen to the eternal Father, eternally one, and the exception is eternally. Absolutely none. So when your fellow man you measure, take him at his best. With that lever, lift him higher. Overlook the rest. For we're all one or none.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is Bo Yu, and I guess tonight we've heard a lot of long and spicy poems. I mean, like they are long and spicy in a good way. But I just want to do some really short and lovely haikus as kind of alternative. And I'm gonna do it in 3 languages. So let's start from English, I guess. It's gonna be the famous one from the Japanese poet Basho. The old pond. A frog jumps in. Sound of the water. Okay. Then the Japanese one. Furui ike ya kawazu tobikomu mitsu no oto. And the Chinese version. 闲寂古池旁，青蛙跳进水中央，扑通一声响。Thank you.
This is a 16th century poem by Sir Thomas Wyatt of Kent. It's called I Find No Peace. Should I still do the accent? Okay. I find no peace and all my war is done. I fear and hope, I burn and freeze like ice. I fly above the wind, yet can I not arise. And naught I have, and all the world I season, that loseth nor locketh, holdeth me in prison. And holdeth me not, yet can I escape no wise, nor letteth me live, nor die at my device. And yet of death it giveth me occasion. Without eyne I see, and without tongue I plain. I desire to perish, yet I ask of health. I love another, and thus I hate myself. I feed me in sorrow, and laugh in all my pain. Likewise displeaseth me both life and death, and of my delight is causer of this strife.
Hello. Oh no. This is a poem by Judith Ortiz Cofer, The Latin Deli in Ars Poetica. Presiding over a Formica counter, plastic mother and child magnetized to the top of an ancient register, the heady mix of smells from the open bins of dried codfish, the green plantains, hanging in stalks like votive offerings. She is the patroness of exiles, a woman of no age who was never pretty, who spends her days selling canned memories while listening to the Puerto Ricans complain that it would be cheaper to fly to San Juan than to buy a pound of Bustelo coffee here, and to Cubans perfecting their speech of a glorious return to Havana, where no one has been allowed to die and nothing to change until then. To Mexicans who pass through, talking lyrically of dólares to be made in El Norte, all wanting the comfort of spoken Spanish, to gaze upon the family portrait of her plain wide face, her ample bosom, resting on her plump arms, her look of maternal interest, as they speak to her and each other of their dreams and their disillusions. How she smiles understanding when they walk down the narrow aisles of her store, reading the labels of packages aloud as if they were the names of lost lovers, suspiros, merengues, the stale candy of everyone's childhood. She spends her days slicing jamón y queso and wrapping it in wax paper tied with string. Plain ham and cheese that would cost less at the A&P, but it would not satisfy the hunger of the fragile old man lost in the folds of his winter coat, who brings her list of items that he reads to her like poetry, or the others, whose needs she must divine, conjuring up products from places that now only exist in their hearts, closed ports she must trade with.
So this is a 19th century poet named Gerard Manley Hopkins. The poem is called The Wind Hover. It's about Icarus. You know who Icarus was. I caught this morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's Dauphin, dapple dawn drawn falcon in his riding of the rolling level, underneath him steady air, and striding high there, how he rung upon the rein of a wimpling wing. In his ecstasy, then off forth on swing, as a skate's heel sweeps smooth on a bow bend. The hurl and gliding rebuffed the big wind. My heart in hiding stirred for a bird, the achieve of, the mastery of the thing. Brute beauty and valor and act, oh, air, pride, plume, here, buckle. And the fire that breaks from thee then 1,000,000,000 times told lovelier, more dangerous, oh, my chevalier. No wonder of it. Sheer plod makes plow down Sicilian shine, and blue bleak embers, my dear, fall, gall themselves, and gash gold vermilion.
This is a poem by Bruce Hanley. It's called Reality. Really? Thank you.
This is a poem written by Rose Marcus. Sometimes I just want to rest my forehead in your fair, infinite knees. Thank you.
This is a short poem by a Greek called Theocritus, back sometime before all of us were born. It is for my wife, the mother of my daughter. Exactly. I run to you as the traveler runs towards the shade when scorched by the sun.
Hey guys, I love open mics. I run a cafe myself, so just come by. Okay, this is called Suicide's Note. It's by Langston Hughes. The calm, cool face of the river asked me for a kiss.
This is an excerpt of an essay entitled How to Slowly Kill Yourself and Others in America by Kiese Lehman. I want to say and mean that remembering starts not with predictable punditry or bullshit blogs or slick art that really asks nothing of us. I want to say that it starts with all of us willing ourselves to remember, tell and accept those complicated, muffled truths of our lives and deaths, and the lives and deaths of folks around us over and over again. Then I want to say and mean that I am who my grandma thinks I am. I am not. I'm a walking regret, a truth teller, a liar, a survivor, a frowning ellipsis, a witness, a dreamer, a teacher, a student, a joker, a writer whose eyes stay red, and I am a child of this nation. Thank you.
So this is an excerpt from the book The Soundscape, Our Sonic Environment and the Tuning of the World by Murray Schaffer. Can you hear me now? Okay. This is an excerpt from the book The Soundscape by Murray Schaffer. The complete title is The Soundscape, our sonic environment, and the tuning of the world. And this is from the first chapter, which is called The Natural Soundscape. I like the first 3 paragraphs, and I might read it again. Voices of the sea. What was the first sound heard? Question mark. It was the caress of the waters, period. Proust or Proust called the sea the plaintive ancestress of the earth pursuing, as in the days when no living creature existed, its lunatic immemorial agitation. The Greek myths tell how man arose from the sea. Some say that all gods and all living creatures originated in the stream of Oceanus, which girdles the world, and that Tethys, or Tethys, was the mother of all his children. So, like the way I read, I want to repeat this paragraph. Voices of the sea. What was the first sound heard? Question mark. It was the caress of the waters. Proust called the sea the plaintive ancestress of the earth pursuing, as in the days when no living creature existed. Its lunatic immemorial agitation. The Greek myths tell how man arose from the sea. Some say that all gods and all living creatures originated in the stream of Oceanus, which girdles the world, and that Tethys or Tethys was the mother of all his children. The ocean of our ancestors is reproduced in the watery womb of our mother and is chemically related to it. Ocean and the mother, ocean and the mother. In the dark liquid of ocean, the relentless masses of water pushed past the first sonar ear. As the ear of the fetus turns in its amniotic fluid, it too is tuned to the lap and gurgle of the water. At first, it is the submarine resonance of the sea, not yet the splash of wave, but then. So I repeat this again. The ocean of our ancestors is reproduced in the watery womb of our mother and is chemically related to it. Ocean and mother. In the dark liquid of ocean, the relentless masses of water pushed past the first sonar ear. As the ear of the fetus turned in its amniotic fluid, it too is tuned to the lap and gurgle of the water. At first, it is a submarine's resonance of the sea, not yet the splash of wave. But then, the waters little by little began to move, and the movement of the waters, the great fish and the scaly creatures were disturbed, and the waves began to roll in double breakers, and the beings that dwell in the waters were seized with fear as the breakers rushed together in pairs. The roar of the ocean grew loud, and the spray was lashed into fury, and garlands of foam arose. And the great ocean opened to its depths, and the waters rushed hither and thither, the furious crests of their waves, meeting this way and that. And again. The waters little by little began to move, and at the movement of the waters, the great fish and the scaly creatures were disturbed, and the waves began to roll in double breakers, and the beings that dwell in the waters were seized with fear, and as the breakers rushed together in pairs, the roar of the ocean grew loud, and the spray was lashed into fury, and garlands of foam arose, and the great ocean opened to its depths, and the waters rushed hither and thither, the furious crests of their waves, meeting this way and that.
Hi everyone. I'm going to read a very short poem, but it's also very true. The poem says, "Bad news is always true. unfortunately. Bad news is always true, unfortunately. Thank you.
Listening begins with the intention of learning, but we struggle with what we hear as we sit around the table or stand in the street together. Have we actually been touched by what we have heard? Here and now then, who are we? We are a proposition waiting to be tested. We listen, we hear, we say what we have heard. It is not easy to listen to someone's testimony of survival, of repression, of being hated by the general public. It's not easy to listen to stories of solidarity and endurance. We may not know what this means to us in the moment. What do we hear? Do we trust it? Do we feel safe? Do we feel part of it? Are we responsible for its future from this point? Again, who are we? If silence is the condition of listening, maybe the political response to listening to struggle is to say nothing, to remain in silence, and to find ourselves with nothing to say for once, and to let our bodies do the talking as we sit together in the room or listening site. How do we listen to these histories? Maybe just by listening to our listening. This is the start of solidarity. Centrally, being visceral, embodied in pain, to feel joy, to be actually touched by listening, is to hear in sound a call for solidarity. Do not let us be attacked anymore. Do not let us be violently evicted anymore. Do not let us be humiliated anymore. This moments of tense hearing may then be our limit point of silent listening before such viscerality has to be expressed, translated, articulated back into words that lead to a collective consequence. That's a struggle. Silence equals death. We cannot ultimately say nothing or do nothing.
This is called Underwear by Lawrence Ferlinghetti. I didn't get much sleep last night thinking about underwear. Have you ever stopped to consider underwear in the abstract? When you really dig into it, some shocking problems are raised. Underwear is all we have to deal with. Everyone wears some kind of underwear. The Pope wears underwear, I hope. The governor of Louisiana wears underwear. I saw him on TV. He must have had tight underwear. He squirmed a lot. Underwear can really get you in a bind. You have seen the underwear ads for men and women, so alike but so different. Women's underwear holds things up. Men's underwear holds things down. Underwear is one thing men and women have in common. Underwear is all we have between us. You have seen the three-color picture with crotches encircled to show the areas of extra strength and three-way stretch, promising full freedom of action. Don't be deceived. It's all based upon a two-party system, which doesn't allow much freedom of choice, the way things are set up. America in its underwear struggles through the night. Underwear controls everything in the end. Take foundation garments, for instance. They are really fascist forms of underground governments, making people believe something, but the truth, telling you what you can or can't do. Did you ever try to get around a girdle? Perhaps nonviolent action is the only answer. Did Gandhi wear a girdle? Did Lady Macbeth wear a girdle? Was that why Macbeth murdered sleep? And that spot she was always rubbing, was it really in her underwear? Modern Anglo-Saxon ladies must have huge guilt complexes, always washing and washing and washing out damned spots. Underwear with spots, very suspicious. Underwear with bulges, very shocking. Underwear on clotheslines, a great flag of freedom. Someone has escaped his underwear, maybe naked somewhere. Help. But don't worry, everybody's still hung up in it. there won't be any real revolution, and poetry still the underwear of the soul, and underwear still covering a multitude of faults in the genealogical sense, strange sedimentary stones, inscrutable cracks. If I were you, I'd keep aside an oversized pair of winter underwear. Don't go naked into that good night, and in the meantime, keep calm and warm and dry. No use stirring ourselves up prematurely over nothing. Move forward with dignity, hand in vest, don't get emotional, and death shall have no dominion. There's plenty of time, and are we still not young and easy? Don't shout.
Hi, I'm going to read a poem I wrote a little while back. I write a lot of poems, but I never read them to people, so I'm going to read it. I want my hands, reeking of steel, stone, wood, to be gentle enough to encompass you and hold the world between our interlaced fingers, and rough enough that I can cling desperately to anything, that all I love will never slip from under rugged pads. Hands that can grip chains around throats, strip them away from chafed raw flesh, and brush gently against it, moonbeams falling gracelessly onto desert dunes and open fields.
If you were watching an astronaut foolhardy enough to jump into a black hole at some time on his watch, say 12 o'clock, he would cross the event horizon and enter the black hole. But no matter how long you waited, you would never see the astronaut's watch reach 12 o'clock. Instead, each second on the watch would appear to take longer and longer until the last second before midnight would take forever. The astronaut wouldn't notice anything special when his watch reached midnight, and he crossed the event horizon into the black hole until, of course, he approached the singularity and was crushed into spaghetti.
I'm going to read another one by Avery. This one's called How to Speak to God. It was written for a friend of ours, Caleb. 1. The sidewalk is a blue fin. You can see it hovering around a thin, clear line, say 30 meters or so below the red taillights, the decadent grasses collapsing through the plaster. You can be warm because of your fever. You can be warm by the hum of waves ringing endlessly in your ears. And you know they travel in large spheres this time of year. A movement of flesh for us. Copse of great blue dilated mountains. And the key won't turn in your door to let you see the light of the entryway. 2. Have you ever made bread before? It's flour, water, salt, and you feed it. You feed it, and it grows. You can break off a piece. It is for you. It is a gift from the warm, thin air.
I'm gonna read a poem written by a Chinese modern poet. His name is Lu Xun. I'm gonna read it in Chinese, and Julian gonna help me to read the English version translation. Okay, the title is 题呐喊，弄文离文往，抗世一世情，击毁可销骨，空留纸上生。Okay, now it's Julian gonna read the translation.
It's translated by J.E. Koalas. Dallying with writing, I was caught in a written net. Resisting the times, I defied worldly sentiment. Slander, when built up, can dissolve the very bone. I leave behind naught but words on paper strown.
This is by the famous Russian poet Lermontov. Белеет парус одинокий в тумане моря голубом, что ищет он страны далекие, что кинул он в краю родном. Играют волны, ветер свищет, и мачта нется и скрипит. Увы, от часто не ищет, и не от часто бежит. Под ним струя светлей лазури, над ним луч солнца золотой, а он мятежный просит бури, как будто в бурях есть покой. It translates to the sail.
JL quote comma slash 0 or W. Will it? IQ. Dot dot. Quij 1 for our M period. Angelou Utaglia. Dot 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 T. 130. Height Oran Armi. Ul al a field of battle. Parentheses of Gaul. Tilde R period 1 tilde comma 1 tilde ul r formed elermi corlicule o I tilde tilde I dot 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 comma dash tilde dot 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 tiff slash comma tilde colon dot dot tilde tilde comma tilde colon apostrophe tilde RMH quote hit 1 dot 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 F dot 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 1 dot period A colon dot 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 1 dot 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 1 dot 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 I quote dot 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 equals colon 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 semicolon 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 plurload I niji versuli wilnen coplo tilde tilde plurload the inth the fluid 1 point I tulu froa the call dot 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 R tilde tilde.
Hello, what's up everyone? My name is Chriselle. I wrote this thing called Build a Bridge, so I'm gonna just share it. I was raised on Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard and an within blocks of the world famous Apollo. My parents created a tight cultural knit wall within our household to protect us from the violence, poverty, and overall hood chaos that plagued our streets. I Can't Breathe is tailored into the fabric of our streets, detailing the many injustices of those marginalized communities. I stand on the shoulders of many leaders whose names are imprinted in the exact same streets I walk through every day. Adam Clayton Powell, Shirley Chisholm, Malcolm X. I'm a descendant of mighty people who gave me the power to share my story, who taught me how to speak my truth, who taught me how to love. Love, the greatest arsenal of all, and how to use love to strengthen my vital purpose as a moral change agent, restoring the humanity within our country. My willingness to succeed is embedded within my DNA. Thank you.
Okay. We knew you were coming. I need 3 mics. We have 3 mics. Don't cross the wires. No pressure. Testing.
Testing.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. Test. Sit. Kelly, can you handle this?
Oh no, you were doing bad.
No.
Michelle, can you handle this?
Beyonce, can you handle this?
I don't think you can handle this.
Woo.
Barely move, we've arrived.
You're reading the whole...
Looking sexy, looking fly. Baddest chick, chick inside. DJ, jam tonight. Spotted me a tender thing. There you are, come on baby. Don't you want to dance with me? Can you handle me?
You gotta do much better if you're gonna dance with me tonight. You gotta work your jelly if you're gonna dance with me tonight. Read my lips carefully. If you look what you see. Move, groove, prove you hang with me. By the looks I got you shook up and scared of me. Hook up your seatbelt. It's time for takeoff.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this, because my body too bootylicious for you, babe.
That's good.
Baby, can you handle this? Baby, can you handle this? Baby, can you handle this? I don't think you can handle this.
That's good.
Okay. It's a part of Witold Gombramovich's Cosmos. The sparrow, the sparrow. Actually, neither Fox nor the sparrow was of much interest to me. It was the mouth, quite plainly, that really intrigued me, or so I thought in my distraction. As if I let go of the sparrow to concentrate on the mouth, a tiresome game of tennis evolved, for the sparrow sent me to the mouth back to the sparrow, and I found myself between the sparrow and the mouth, one hiding behind the other. And as soon as I caught up with the mouth, eagerly, as if I had lost it, I already knew that beyond this side of the house was the other side. Beyond the mouth was the sparrow, hanging all alone. But worst of all, the sparrow could not be placed on the same map as the mouth. It was totally beyond, in another realm.
It was here, quite by chance, ridiculous actually. So why was it cropping up? It had no right. Oh, it had no right. Had no right. The less justification it had, the more strongly it inflicted itself upon me and became more intrusive and more difficult for me to shake off. If it had no right, then the fact that it was pestering me was all the more significant. I stood a while longer in the hallway, between the sparrow and the mouth. I returned to my room, lay down, and fell asleep faster than one would have expected.
Hello. This is a poem called Andalusia by my housemate and friend. Her name is Sylvia Foster. Smooth motion from bed to chair, chair to desk, hushed prayer, creak of maple, hiss of drawer, silence. Outside, the bulk of the sun greets the easternmost earth. Lace curtains dapple with rose. Patterns settle onto freckled flesh. Sleep prods no more. Dreams leave no trace. Mind blank as virgin morn. The first fowl declares it a new day. Numerous others caw at the light, beg for food, but to rise would be to accept defeat. So pick up the pen, carve a new life. Church bells tolls twice, strikes the atmosphere. Rise from wicker, clutch new limb, creak like wood, crossing the farmhouse floor. Step down to soil, wade through the fields, watch illness drift into the vacant sky.
Hi. Uh-oh. Ha 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 ha. Check out this bizarre rapper style used by me, the B.I.G. I put my key, you put your key in. Money will be seen. We'll reach the fucking ceiling. Check it. My cello been choked. This rap Alfred Hitchcock dropped top notch playing. It's too small. Plain hidden, go stop. This instant, rapper too persistent. It's too small. I need a bigger phone. Can I get a bigger phone? Ready? Okay, that's better. So from the top. Now it's locked. Should we drop it? No, we'll do it. Okay. Okay. Ha 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 ha. Check out this bizarre rapper style used by me, the B.I.G. I put the key, you put your key in. Money will be seen. We'll reach the fucking ceiling. Check it. My cello been choked. This rap Alfred Hitchcock drop top notch, play a hit and don't stop. This instant, rappers too persistent, quick to spit Biggie's name on shit. Make my name taste like ass when you lick it. You see me in the street, your jewelry, you can keep it. That will be our little secret. See me, be that is, I that is Jewish. Motherfuckers stealing my biz. Don't they know my nigga got a fucking kidnap kids? Fuck them in the ass, throw them over the bridge. That's how it is. My shit is laid out. Fuck that beef shit. That shit is played out. You all go to jail. Full lyrics. Okay. Wait. Fuck that beef shit. That shit is played out. You all go jail. Oh, I'm too nervous.
Hey, I'd like to use the stage to plug in an event before I read my poem. This Friday at Prentice 101, we're having a really great session with Oz that was just here, and we'll see a film and talk about his art, and it'll be super cool. So we'll bring tons of alcohol too. So, and I'll try to read this poem. Okay. Order number 2 to the Army of Arts. This is to you, well-fed baritones from Adam to the present day, shaking the dives called theaters with the groans of Romeo and Juliet or some such child play. To you, mattress painters, fattening like ponies, guzzling and guffawing salt of the earth, secluded in your studios, forever spouting, flowers and girlfish for all you are worth. To you, fig leaf camouflage mystics, foreheads dug over the furrows sublime, futurist, imagist, acmistic, stuck tight in the cobwebs of rhyme. To you, who abandoned smooth haircuts for matted, slick shoes for pass clogs a la Ruski, proletkultist, sewing your patches on the faded frock coat of Alexander Pushkin. To you, dancing or playing the tune, now openly betraying, now sinning in secret, picturing the future as an opportune academic salary for every nitwit. I say to you, I, whether genius or not, working in Rosta, abandoning trills, quit your rot before you're debunked with the butts of rifles. Quit it, forget, and spit the rhymes, areas, roses, hearts, and all other such like shit out of the arsenals of the arts. Whoever cares that, poor creatures, how he loved, how his heart did bleed, master craftsmen, not long-haired preachers. That is what we need. Hark. Locomotives groan, droughts, throw their flood of and window blows. Give us coal from the dawn, mechanics, fitters, for the devout. On every river, from source to mouth, with holes in their sides, rivers, boats too. Lee idle, Dinmali howling out. Give us oil for Baku. While we kill time, debating the innermost essence of life, give us new form, we're waiting. Everything seems to cry. We're nobody's fools, till your lips come apart, to stare expectant like cows chewing cud. Comrades, wake up, give us new art, to harrow the republic out of the mud.
Hi. This is a poem by Emily Dickinson titled Fame is a Fickle Food. Fame is a fickle food upon a shifting plate, whose table once, a guest but not, the second time is set, whose crumbs the crowds inspect, and with ironic caw flap past it to the farmer's corn, men eat of it and die.
My friend said my poem was too short, so one more time. Bad news is always true.
Okay. Oh, wait, anyone else haven't read that has something to read? By the way, I'm taking notes. I'm watching you. I know who's not come up on stage. You're gonna get fail. F. I mean, not pass. I don't know, whatever. All right. So, thank you everyone for coming and putting in an effort. I think it's good to hear everyone read and bring words. Okay, so this is a last footnote. One would have to write poetry first before making art, so there would be poetry to make sculpture from. But, ... a throw of the dice will never abolish chance. We are... Well, what are we but victims of our historical past? Thank you. Good night. So, we can do this again next month. It's going to be songs. We're going to sing, okay? Think about it now. And the making, what is it called, that class again? Making without object. Tomorrow, Watson, studio visits. Email will be sent at midnight. So you'll wake up to it. Anyway, Watson, 11 o'clock, we'll walk around and look at people's studio and see what everybody's doing. Okay?